Welcome back, everybody. We got another special issue of Kerrang! Magazine. This is issue number 12, March 25th through April 7th of 1982. We're going to flip through this magazine page by page, check out the latest bands that were tearing it up in 1982. We're going to go back in time and see what was happening in the 80s heavy metal scene. If you haven't already, click subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know the drill. Leave your questions, comments, and feedback or requests below. Let's get to it. Let's start looking at this magazine page by page. Alright, we got Kerrang! Look at that. We got the Scorpions. These Scorpions are hot off after their Blackout album. Scorpions Blackout was a monster hit featuring Matthias Jabs, who was tipping his hat to Eddie Van Halen and blowing Eddie Van Halen away too in 1981. Just listen to Blackout. And then he tips his hat to Eddie on the opening riff, and he does that dive bomb. You immediately thought of Eddie, but it was Matthias Jab saying, "Yeah, what's up? What's up?" Alright, that's just my opinion, but check out Blackout. When you hear Blackout, turn it up. The opening riff, you just gotta turn it up, because that was Matthias Jab totally paying tribute to Eddie right there. Tipping his hat. Alright, we got the Scorpions. We got Foreigner. I know Foreigner is not heavy metal, but they were like hard rock in the late 70s, early 80s. So here we go. Uriah Heep. I totally forgot all about Uriah Heep. We got Styx. Domo Arigato. This is before Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. They're going to blow up with Mr. Roboto. So this is right before that. Rose Tattoo. Again, I never heard of Rose Tattoo. We got Iron Maiden. Grand Prix. I still have not heard any Grand Prix. I need to look them up on YouTube. Vardis. I never heard of a band called Vardis, so it may be a band popular in the UK. Anvil. Oh, look at these weird names, huh? Vardis, Anvil, Spider. Oh, look at this. We got Motley Crue. Remember Too Fast for Love or Too Fast, that first LP? This is right before Shout at the Devil. So they're about to make their move. Because right here they're wearing no makeup. And it's just basically some leather and music. They're going to change their image in a few months. And then we got Tank. So the bands I do not know or heard of are Rose Tattoo, Grand Prix, Vardis, Anvil, Spider, and Tank. But look at this. Britain's loudest rock magazine. All right, let's go ahead and open her up. All right, we got Mayhem. Again, that's on every issue. Mayhem. Pretty much the ins and outs of what's happening. Look, these are all the tour news of Motorhead right there. Where are they now? They're talking about whoever this is. Again, with Kerrang! The print is very, very small. So if there's any interview that piques your interest, I'll be more than happy to upload a separate 10-minute video where I can read you any interview aloud, one-on-one, and make a video of that. And that'll be fun if you want to do that. All right? We got Iron Maiden competition winners. All right? Loverboy, again, I mentioned this in another issue. Get Lucky. Loverboy, not heavy metal, but they were a good hard rock band. I have their entire catalog, and they're good. They're worth listening to. Very catchy tunes, good guitars, good vocals, but the tunes are really good. Great rhythm and so forth. So check out Loverboy. Alright, Blitzkrieg in Paris. Now look at this. You got Scorpions. Now look, you can obviously tell right over here. I had to tear the page to scan it. So there it is. That's what it would have looked like. It would have been a nice little poster, but I had to tear it up. So this is all about, you know, Scorpions on tour, right? Look at this. His iconic, he has a white one with black stripes, and then he's got a black Explorer with white stripes. So that was his signature design. Randy Rhoads had the polka dot, right? And he had the stripes. This one has an Explorer as his main guitar. I don't think I ever seen him play with a Les Paul or a Stratocaster. Oh, he has a Super Strat, where he copied Eddie with the single humbucker. He did have one, and the Floyd Rose. But his signature guitar was right here. The Explorer, Gibson Explorer with the stripes, these big stripes. Nothing like Eddie, but it was his own design. Just like Michael Shaker has his black and white Flying V, also Gibson. So they both have their own signature guitars. Alright, there's Rudy Shaker, Michael Shaker's older brother. There's Rudolph Shaker right there. So their two brothers are both successful. One went solo, he played with UFO, then went solo, and here's Rudy making all his money touring with the Scorpions. Right, look at Journey. Escape. This album was huge for Journey in 1982. I think it came out in 81, but it's still popular in 1982. Journey was really, really good. They still are. Right, rock and roll teacher. The future of rock music lies in over schools, says Neil Key. Jeff Banks, CSD Mayhem, takes the lesson. So you need to have rock in schools to keep the rock alive. These are the top 30 tracks that people in the UK think there are. So here we go. We got AC/DC over here, Let It Rain, Status Quo, and on and on and on. Alright, look, Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. This band was very heavy, very eerie, scary, but they were a lot of fun to watch live. I never saw them live, but I saw footage back then on MTV, where they had videos of them performing live, and they looked like a lot of fun. So I missed out on Iron Maiden live. I never saw Judas Priest live either, but I've seen their videos live, and so they were awesome. Back in the day, they were awesome. Right, this was, again, Rip right here. Let's see what the other half says. Out of the Ashes. All right, who are they talking about here? Oh, Uriah Heep. I remember the band in the 70s. I didn't know how popular they were, if at all, in the 80s, but here they are, either making a comeback or trying to basically stay in the game with all the young 80s metal bands about to come out. All right, there's Uriah Heep. This beautiful Gibson Les Paul right here, all black. Gibson, here's the DiMarzio Super Distortion pickups right there. Look at that. Black pickguard, black guitar, white binding. This is a beautiful guitar. Now, if you wanted to modify it, you can put gold knobs right here. Put the white pickguard there, white toggle plate right there, and have either zebra pickups right there, or have white with the white pickup rings. You can always customize this guitar, but this guitar right there, it looks sweet. It looks hot, almost like a John Sykes type of guitar. All right, look at Foreigner again. Remember Uriah Heep? Here's Foreigner with almost the same. I go back, so there's Uriah Heep. Look at that. So this guitar player has this Gibson Les Paul, but the guy from Foreigner has his own version of that same guitar. The exact same guitar. Look at that. Black pickguard, white binding, black pickups, black knobs. So they both have the same guitar. Isn't that cool? Alright, may the force be with you. Alright, what's this about? Foreigners have got it. Steve gets it. Foreigner had several big hits in 79, 77, 79? Around 79 to like 81, 82, they had a lot of big hits, Foreigner. Again, they weren't metal, but they were on FM radio a lot. So you remember FM radio? Before all the talk radio, they were all over the radio, Foreigner. Right, so this is still on Foreigner. So on your ass or your elbow, bike, go for it. I don't know what that is, but there it is. Alright, look at Styx. So this photo is weird, the way he's hugging Dennis DeYoung. Dennis DeYoung went through a lot of transformations. Here he is with the afro, or permanent, and the mustache. Then he cropped it, no mustache for Roboto, Mr. Roboto, Domo Autograto. There's Tommy Shaw. I forgot who these people are, but Tommy Shaw is a good guitar player, good singer. Dennis DeYoung sounds like Michael Sweet from Stryper. They're both interchangeable. Here's Styx. Styx was also good. Turbo. I never heard of Turbo, so I need to look up Turbo. They don't look metal. They look more like punk or new wave, so I'd have to check them out. Turbo. Alright, Take a Bite. Whitesnake. Whitesnake was pretty big. Here's this. A free single with Ruby Red and Slade. So, I don't know who this is right there. Maybe that's Ruby Red or Slade. So there's that. Right, contact. You want to contact your local record company, your favorite bands, agents. You do it right through here. Vardis. Remember the band Vardis I was telling you about? On the cover of this magazine? Vardis. A new 4-track EP is out. And look, again, remember I told you about Blackout? Blackout was awesome. You hear Blackout? The opening E chords with Matthias Jabs, and he does that power dive bomb. Total Eddie Mayhem. I loved it. Alright, who's this? Vardis. Don Dokken. All right, look at this. So this is under Don Dokken. Not Dokken, but Don Dokken. So it'd be cool to read what this has to say. So this is a review of Dokken. And I'm sure that here they're going to mention George Lynch. Probably Paris is Burning. Look out for up-and-coming guitar player. But again, I can't read this because it's so damn small. But maybe I'll do a follow-up video and tell you what Kerrang thought of Dokken's first album. But look, they didn't call it Dokken. They called it Don Dokken. That's what Jeff Pilson, Mick Brown, and George Lynch and Juan Crucier did not want. They wanted to be called Dokken, not Don Dokken. And Dokken copied Van Halen because of the last name, so he went with Dokken. A lot of people were using their last name because of Van Halen. So he thought, okay, I'll just call myself Dokken. Dokken rhymes with rockin'. Right? Here's Gamma. What else? Lady Killers, Susan Lynch. No relation to George Lynch. We got Viva. And then we got Quarter Flash. I love Quarter Flash. I had this album. Quarter Flash was all over the radio. Find Me Another Fool. Find Another Fool. And then, yeah, the total Pat Benatar ripoff. Wannabe copycat. But she was good. She was good. What basically made them disappear, she broke out the saxophone. If she would have just sang, it would have been cool. It would have been like a rock band. But when she broke out that saxophone doing, instead of guitar solos, she had saxophone solos. It was like, what? This is too weird, too corny. Quarter Flash was good, but they had to ditch that saxophone singer. So it was a female singer. She was good. Comparisons to Pat Benatar, but that saxophone had to go. Look, I thought it said saccharin. Saracen. So there's a band called Saracen. Isn't that weird? Cuts. Grab some anytime. I can't read that. Henry Fool. I can't read that. I can't read this. It's too small. The font on this magazine is really tiny. Scorpions, No One Like You. Blackout. Look, the Blackout Tour. I remember in high school, a lot of guys at school coming back with black t-shirts of Scorpions. Oh, I just remember it was awesome. Turn it up. That's when we had music on cassette tapes in our boom boxes. All right, look at Motorhead. Iron Fist. Single Iron Fist out now. So if you like Motorhead, you have that album, give me your thoughts. All right, look at this. Maidens. This is Eddie. This is Iron Maiden. Isn't that pretty cool? So there we go. That would have been a great poster, but I had to cut it. Look, sorry about that. But let's scan it. You got to do what you got to do. Right, concerts. These are concerts in check. Upcoming concerts. Iron Maiden. Who else? The Rods. I need to look up the Rods. I've never heard of the Rods. The name keeps popping up, obviously, but soon you're going to see that name disappear. So they either broke up or they fizzled. All right, again, look at that beautiful Gibson Explorer 720. So there's that band 720 playing in the UK. You gotta check them out. Diamond Head, Raven, 720. So these are obscure bands, metal bands you should check out. Check out Diamond Head on YouTube, Raven, heavy metal band on YouTube, and 720 on YouTube. Right, Armed and Ready, Alberta Gun, and Snakebite. Again, if these are name bands, they fizzled and they weren't memorable. Right, Kerrang! Next issue out April 8th. Now, it's sad to say this issue came out the week where Randy Rhoads had already passed. I believe he passed, March 12th. So Randy Rhoads died March 12th of 1982. And this issue covers the week of March 12th. So it's sad. So here's the band called Treason. So I wonder if upcoming issues are going to discuss Randy Rhoads. We'll see. So here it is. Here's the band Treason. Look at this beautiful Gibson Flying V. Checkered Career. So Steve Gadd talks with Grand Prix. Again, I need to look up these bands. Vardis, Grand Prix, Raven, 720. Just go to YouTube. I'm sure you can find them. Right? Electric Warriors. Vardis are Bowling clones. I'm proud of it. So there's a band called Bowling, and so Vardis copies Bowling. So there we go. Right, I don't know who this is. Let's see if this is part of another side. The Agony and the Ecstasy. Chris Welch jumps on a satellite with Rose Tattoo's Angry Anderson. So, the band Rose Tattoo. This is the lead singer Angry Anderson. Again, I don't remember Rose Tattoo music. If they were popular, maybe they got some hits. I need to revisit to see. Like, oh, so that's who that was. Oh, so that's who sang that song. I can't recall any Rose Tattoo song that was on MTV or that my friends were talking about. Hey, let's go see Rose Tattoo. Unless they were popular in the UK and only the UK. Right? Hammer Horror. Howard Johnson talks to lips of Anvil. So here's the band Anvil again. They're trying to go with all that leather look. No makeup, but just the leather and metal. So if Anvil was good, they would have stuck around. Again, here's Anvil. Look at the outfits. In the early 80s, you had a lot of bands wearing leather, red leather, or jeans and leather, or costumes. That's the way it was. Let me know. Oh, look at this. Now, here's what I'm saying. This is the early, look at this beautiful poster. But this is the early Motley Crue shot. This could have been at the Whiskey right here. Let's just assume this photo was from the Whiskey. Look. No makeup. No makeup for Mick Mars. And no makeup over here. But for Shout at the Devil, they started wearing the makeup. And they got noticed. So look at this banner that they made up. This little banner. They're playing the clubs. They were hungry here. They just released their first EP. Too Fast for Love or something like that. Little do they know they're going to explode in 1983. They don't know it yet, but they're going to explode in 1983. Have one of the best heavy metal videos of all time. Shout Out the Devil. Oh, shout. And then wearing the makeup and Looks That Kill. Oh, I keep saying Shout Out the Devil, but Looks That Kill. Looks That Kill is going to put them on the map. And with the new look, they're going to be menacing and really good. But look, there's no makeup. It's just pure heavy metal. I love it. Alright, Grand Prix. I need to look up Grand Prix. Here's some crossword. Kilowatt. Motorhead's Bumper Humper. So this is about Motorhead. Back then you had pen pals. I remember doing pen pals in elementary school. I don't know if we ever got them. I think we pen palled a school from another state. And then they would pen pal us. And we did that like once or twice, and that was it. Just so that we could say we got mail. Right, here's the personals, for sale, classifieds. Everything is with a K for Kerrang. Pretty good, huh? Right, here's some posters or pictures right there. Kerrang classified. Alright, we're almost done with this issue. Kerrang rock cassettes right there. So these are cassettes if you want to buy them. Alright, look at this. Guitar Hero Snowy White of Thin Lizzy. Again, look at this beautiful Gibson Les Paul, no pickguard. I assume it's a Gibson Les Paul. But this is the guitar player for Thin Lizzy, Snowy White. Tank. So they actually had Tank behind their drums. Either this is from a video, or that's their stage. So the band's Tank, obviously from the UK. Spider, obviously from the UK. I'd never heard of them. So, but if they made music back in the early 80s, metal, I'm sure they were a lot of fun. But you gotta be good and maintain it. Right, letters to the editor. Oops, did we make a boo-boo? So here they're probably making corrections right there. And Bedrock. Use your ID. I'm sorry, use your ED, whatever that is. What am I? Rainbow Alphabet. Again, more small print. I think that's it, right? So this is the back cover of the magazine that we just saw. Blackfoot, the album Marauder, the new single from Blackfoot. And that's it. And that is the back cover of it. And here is the front of Kerrang. Again, up here, March 25th. Oh, I take it back. March 25th through April 7th of 1982. So sadly, Randy had already passed. I thought this was the week of March 12th. It's not. But he had already passed. But I'm sure that one of these issues is going to have something on him. And the crash, perhaps. Alright, I'm Tony. What do you think about this issue of Kerrang number 12? from March 25th through April 27th of 1982. What do you think about these bands? Let me know if you've heard of Vardis, Anvil, Spider, Grand Prix. Let me know. I'm going to look them up and see if they're any good, or say, you know what, they suck, that's why they broke up and whatever. Alright, thanks for joining me here for another great episode of Metal Magazine Review. Any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. Thanks everybody, I'll see you all in the next video.